All right, we're in there. Chief Priest Teru from Church of the Nile, where we pray, we fight, we unite, and we love. So today, guys, we're just gonna come on here and do a quick little podcast, nothing special. Today is 4th of July weekend. And we got to see some fireworks yesterday. It's kind of weird for me when I'm celebrating 4th of July because as much as I love our independence and the freedoms that come with that, with America, I also have to think about all the colonialism and all the stolen land. And, you know, it's sometimes weird because I live this life and it's going to be hard for you guys even because as minorities in this country, you know, sometimes you watch all the guys waving the American flags and the Pledge of Allegiance, and it's real hard because as much as I love this country, I don't feel like minorities are treated fairly. You know, there's so much race stuff that goes on in this country. I was just talking to you guys about the Israelites, right? And I feel bad.
Blacks and Mexicans.
Yeah, with blacks and Mexicans, right? Which is, and this is why I think it's funded by George Soros, because it creates division, right? So what they're doing is they're dividing minorities, and they're saying, oh, blacks and Mexicans can be in this, but Asians and and whites and
they accepted.
There's lots of other Arabs. Let's say Arabs can't be in it, right? Which doesn't make sense to me because again, you're dividing people of God, right? There's Arab people that are of God. There are Asian people that are of God. So it's just funny to me because I think that division is something that literally stops people from uniting. Because now you got these black guys telling me that I can't be part of their group because I'm white, and my daughters can't be part of their group because they're Asian and white, which is kind of stupid. And it's not kind of stupid, it's really stupid. And it's hard because just the same, my argument with the Israelites sometimes is my argument with the Europeans, where it's like, I don't want to argue because you're looking at it from a white standpoint. I'm looking at it from a hybrid, a biracial standpoint. So I think somebody that's Mexican it would be hard for them to relate with me because they're able to join that group. So they can always be like, well, you know, you kind of understand, but you don't understand what it's like to be me because you're not me. You're not the one that's saying that you can't join this group. You could join the group. I can't. So it's really hard for you to identify with me because you could join it and I can't. So that's why I say to white people, it's hard sometimes because I know a white person wants to have empathy for what I go through on a day-to-day basis, and I tell everybody what I go through on a day-to-day basis isn't as bad as what somebody a shade darker than me goes through. And even with you guys, you don't go through what I go through being a minority that's a man. Even that's a difference. A minority that's a man versus a woman. If you walk into a store, no one looks at you like you guys are going to steal something.
Because
you're little girls.
But then,
right?
Yeah.
But if I walk into a store, there's some European person that's going to be watching. I know this because it happens to me all the time. And they watch me and they're like, and then they ask me stupid questions like, and I'm like, look, I'm not stealing anything. But I get it, right? Like, because there is somebody that looks like me that,
oh, there's nothing for sale.
Yeah, there's nothing for sale. That was crazy. And that showed that was an Asian person that didn't want me in their store. So this is where I always trip out about life. Like racism goes full circle. You know, you can have an Asian person that's racist. And here would be a good question. So what would happen if another young Asian person walked in that store? Do you think that they are discriminatory against everybody that's young? Or do you think they're discriminatory against somebody that just doesn't look like them?
Just doesn't look like them.
What do you think?
And also how they dress. Like, if you came in with a do-rag and, like, sagging pants.
So no matter what race you were, if you came in with a do-rag and sagging pants, they'd probably discriminate on you, even if you're a white guy.
Like, you could be white, and they'll discriminate. And you could be Asian, you could be white.
So there's pretty much discrimination everywhere you go if you think about it, because no matter what, and this is where I say it's always hard for me being, because I think we look for acceptance, right? So if the person at the Asian store, someone walked in that store that looked exactly like them, then they'd probably look at that person and be like, oh, okay, well they're like me, they're not gonna steal. But if they come in with a do-rag and saggy pants, well then they're gonna be threatened all of a sudden.
If you come in with a black hoodie and a bonnet on, get out.
And see, this is what is hard for some of my European friends to understand, my, for lack of better words, my white friends, is there's this crazy thing called white privilege. And white privilege means that when you walk into a store, someone assumes that you can afford it, even if you can't. That's something as simple as white privilege, right? White privilege is, and that's where I tell people, you don't know what that feels like, right? White privilege is to say, I've never been pulled over before. Most white people are going to tell you that. I tripped out about that because I didn't, it was funny, it was one of my minority friends that told me that. They're like, have you ever asked a white person how many times they've been pulled over? And I'm like, come to think about it, no, I haven't. And it was funny, he was like, go and ask them. I guarantee you they all say none. Unless it was something that we were really, really doing, right? Just pulled over to be pulled over. And that's when I realized that's white privilege, right? I don't know what that feels like. You did? You got kicked out of the store for what?
For looking at the claw clips.
The what?
The claw clips. You know those clippies in the hair?
Mm-hmm.
She thought we were going to steal them, so she said get out.
Who was this and where was I?
You were in LA, and you were with Uncle Fig and them.
Yeah.
And
Who were you with?
Nobody.
Mom said,
Well,
Mom
Mom
was looking at the store next door, and we said, can we go next door to look at the stuff?
like Hello
And
Kitty
she said,
stuff.
yeah, go ahead. And then we looked in there,
And then
we
there
were
was like we were looking at the clock clips because we thought they were cute, and we just picked one up. Like I picked one up, and she was like, "Put it down and get out." Like, well, not like that, but she said, it and like, oh wait, like.
Yep. So I wonder if you were a little Asian kid, and they probably saw you and thought you were something else. So that's what happens in America that people, again, white people don't understand. Even my closest of friends, who I'm not going to say they're racist, they just don't understand what white privilege is, right? So white privilege is being able to say, I've never got pulled over unless I was doing something wrong, right? And then and it's funny because then I'll talk to my white friends and I'll be like, well, I've been pulled over a ton of times. And it's almost like they don't believe you. They're like, no, you must have been doing something. You must have. And I'm like, no, it's called wearing this color skin, dude. I know that you don't realize that there's racist cops out there, but there are cops that are just gonna pull you over just because you're this color.
I had a friend named AJ back then, and his mom got pulled over for no reason by a white cop, and he's black.
Yep, that is white privilege right there.
Like they just got
Or
pulled
we'll
over.
call it black unprivilege or minority unprivilege, right? If you are a minority, I'm pretty sure that you can tell everybody except Asians, because Asians don't get pulled over for some reason. I don't know why.
Why would you feel like that?
Unless they're in the hood. But if you're Asian, I think Asians get the pass now, because most people think that your average Asian guy works at Hewlett Packard or Apple or they're
some dentist or doctor somewhere.
dentist or doctor. But don't let them Asian dudes fool you, man. That's why there's some Asian privilege too. And again, what happens is, again, it's just being discriminated against, by the authorities. So I've been pulled over so many times, And then what's even worse is when you're given a ticket for something that you didn't do.
Chad, have you got a ticket before from the color scheme?
I have, unfortunately.
Like just out of nowhere?
And it's easy for me to default and be like, oh, it was a racist cop. And it was a racist cop. It's weird when like people, but I could tell this story 1,000 times and you'll have 5 people that believe me and the rest of the people are like, oh, sure, whatever, Ian, you must have been doing something. No one's just going to give you a ticket because of the color of your skin.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they
AJ's
are.
mom got that like 5 times.
And it's just part of what I've accepted in this country that we live in, right? It could be way worse. If I was in the South, you know, I hear some stuff down there and I'm like, damn, I still feel like they're living back in the 50s and 60s.
And then when we told
Mom, where a
Mom,
cop could beat you up or something.
and when we told Mom that we got kicked out, she went and yelled at the lady.
Oh, really?
She's
Good.
like, why you kick my I was like, why you kick my kids out?
She probably felt stupid.
But she's yelled at them in Vietnamese because they were Vietnamese. We were in LA.
And
At
she
the
was like,
mall.
because they were touching the claw clips.
Okay, guys.
So there's so much white privilege that happens. Like sometimes I see, remember what I was talking about earlier is that, you know what's white privilege? Inheritance.
Oh yeah, like a bunch of land.
It's funny because I went to pretty much a predominantly white school. You guys don't go to a predominantly white school because there's so many minorities in Elk Grove. I would say out of the class that you had, it was like really even. You got a lot of white people, a lot of black people, a lot of Asian people, a lot of Mexican, a lot of Arab, Indian. We've got everything down there, right? And it's kind of multicultural. I love it for that reason. The school that I went to in Benicia, there was probably
99%.
it was me and Jacoby as far as the black folks. I mean, I shouldn't say that. There was a handful. When I mean a handful, like 5, like literally a handful.
Like,
There was a handful. There was a lot of Filipinos only because Filipino in Vallejo is popular in that area. So I think all the rich Filipinos lived in Benicia.
Dad, I have a question. When you say that, like back then, you know how there was slavery only for, like really the white people had all the treatment?
Mhm.
But where would what would happen to the Mexicans and the Asians? Would they get treated the same
Pretty much, yeah. They get treated just the same
as
You know
white
what they
people or
told
black
about
people?
why?
as the black people.
And you know what they told about why? That you know what she told about why? That we were being disruptive.
To who?
So sometimes,
Oh my gosh.
guys, this is where in life I think minorities have just accepted that we are the minorities, right? And when I was in Benicia, I can't tell you how many times I got discriminated against by teachers. I mean, I had my my high school counselor tell me that he didn't think I should go to college because I wasn't college material. And I always thought about that, like it actually pushed me to get through college because I was like, why would that guy say that, you know? Like, but I will say it straight up, he was a racist counselor that didn't have any love for minorities and thought that minorities were stupid and just should go get some field job somewhere. And they just shouldn't have to go to college. So,
just because you didn't go to college.
no, he probably went to college just because he was European.
Well,
And
maybe
white.
because he thinks
And
that
because
you're not a
thought-
good influence because you're
Well,
not
it's weird. Back then, I didn't get really good grades, but I didn't get good grades not because I was trying. Or I shouldn't say that. I didn't get good grades not because I was trying. I just wasn't trying. I just figured it was stupid. I was like, I don't get
that
it.
Then
guy
how'd
said
you
it?
get into college?
Because I got into
Because-
college because I got lucky.
And what
I-
college did you go to?
Had a counselor that noticed that I was smart and asked me if I could do good on my SAT test if she paid for it. And some more white privilege, right? These crazy things called SAT prep classes. And I won't even call that white privilege. I'll call that not poor privilege. Okay, when you're poor, you don't have the privilege to do all the things that your friends and rich privilege get to do. So when you're rich, guess what you get to do? You get to
Take
take
your
SAT prep courses, you get to take SAT classes and all these things that prepare you for this test. Do you think I took a SAT prep course? No, because it was too expensive. I couldn't even afford the cost of the test. And I remember how much the test was. Back then it was $300, which I remember I'd asked my mom, do you think I should take the SAT? She asked me how much it cost. And right when I said 300, I saw the look on her face where I was like, oh,
Never mind.
back then, yeah, never mind. Like $300 to us back then was so much money. That was like, I'd say like
Buy my dream toy.
$3,000 today, right? Like literally, that's probably what I feel it was worth. So could my mom come up with 3 racks just for a SAT, you know, to see if I do good? No. You know, and I always felt kind of bad that I was a burden financially. So I thought to myself, well, hey, why don't I just tell my mom that I would rather go to the military, and then I don't ever have to worry about taking the SAT, because if I go to the military, then I take their test and I don't have to worry about it. There's no prep
What
classes
college
for
did you
that.
go to?
Dad,
I went to Sonoma State.
Dad, do you start to pay for SATs now?
Yeah, you do.
How much are they? Like,
I don't know now.
Would you let me take the SAT?
It might
you
be
let me?
close to, well, you're gonna have to if you want to go to college. So it's kind of weird because, again, back to white privilege, right? There were all these things. You know what's white privilege? Field trips. A lot of people don't get this, and it's weird because no one knows what it's like to be poor unless you're poor, right? And I was like, do you realize, like, you went to Sly Park? I didn't get to go to any field trips, right? If I asked my mom for money, Sly Park was a lot of money, by the way.
How much was Sly Park then?
I don't know. It was probably like, it probably would have been like $5,000.
Dang, that was cheap.
I remember like all the kids, they got to go to like Washington D.C. And then again, I went to a rich school. So what sucked about going to a rich school is everyone was rich, and I was the only guy that was poor. So literally, it was like me and the 5 other poor kids would stay behind, and I was so embarrassed of not being able to go, I would act like I went. Because in my mind, like, no one ever knew if I really went or didn't go. So I would just be like, oh, I was there.
I mean, it's not like
You
they
know?
asked the whole school.
Right. And they'd be like, oh, okay, you were there? And I was like, yeah, I was there. And even if I wasn't there, I'd just act like I was on the field trip. You know?
Yeah, I went to Washington.
So they're like, oh, I didn't see you. Where were you? And I'm like, oh, I was there.
Yeah, I was just
I was
in the
there.
back.
I was in the back somewhere. I was watching. I was in the front. You know.
My teacher let me
And
go
they're like,
off
you were
by
there,
myself.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw the
I saw you. You didn't see me.
Yeah, I saw this and that. Oh, we didn't visit that.
Oh, I
did I say that? Did I say? I meant to say this.
Next subject.
Yeah.
No, go lie down, please.
Dad. So depending on your SAT score, it depends on what college you go to.
Yes, the better you get, the better school
See,
you go
always
to.
puts his paw like
What score would I have to get into Stanford?
A very high score.
probably
Almost a
higher
perfect.
than a 4.5.
So there's all these things that you get to do, or you don't get to do, I should say, when you don't have money. Like, I never ate at a restaurant, right? Like, you guys take all this for granted because you got to remember, now I got money. So I overcompensate now. I almost think sometimes I eat out too much because I never got to eat out as a kid. And back to what I would always do, what do you think Dad was doing? He was over there trying to
Making
figure
a
out who
sandwich.
owned it. You know, so I was like, I wonder who owns
Cheesecake
McDonald's.
Factory.
And I wonder who owns that and this and that and this. And I wonder how many McDonald's there are. Because there's just 5, you know, that I can name just within the 2 cities that I live in.
Dad, you didn't even go like once for a special treat.
Have you went
No.
to Disneyland?
No Disneyland.
I thought you said
I
you
went to
once.
Disneyland once, but it was the
Worst experience.
worst experience of my life.
And didn't you?
Because
say
again, it was like, I went with the Europeans. I went with my mom's friends who were rich, and they got to do everything. It was like
they got
torture
to get their
because
little Mickey ears.
I got to sit and watch kids do everything that I wanted to do. Like, eat at all the fancy restaurants, and literally we just sat outside and would watch them eat. And I kid you not, what we ate was bologna sandwiches. I was on a bologna sandwich budget.
I want a bologna sandwich. I like that.
But, you know, how my mom looked at it was, hey, at least you get to go. And I still looked at it like that. At least I get to go.
Did you ride any
It
of the
sucks.
rides?
Yeah, you get to ride the rides. You just don't get to do all the
Like the
extracurricular
eating.
activities that you guys get
Didn't
to
they
do,
get
which
the
is
Mickey
like
ears?
the Mickey ears, the sundae, the t-shirts, the
Oh, like
The
shopping at the shops. There.
shopping at the shops, the gift shops, you know,
Dad,
like.
didn't you feel bad?
And
that
I
you
was
weren't
so
visiting
thankful
them?
that my mom got to even send me, right? So I'm not saying that I'm not thankful, because it was just hard watching somebody do all of the things that you really wanted to do.
And you just saw them.
And as much as I was trying to be happy that I was even there,
Dang, your
there's
mom's
another
very
side
sweet.
where I was like, I can't blame them either, because again, it's not like they had so much money they could have just paid for me. They had enough to pay for their kids, you know, and treat their kids to a
Sometimes.
great time
Hey,
at
you got to
Disneyland.
go to Disney
But just
World.
because of that doesn't mean that I have to, now they have to pay for me. It's not fair to them, right? It's like if we go and, you know, somebody can't afford something, that just because we can afford it doesn't mean I'm going to pay for their family.
Because that's good. Because then if you pay for one family, probably everybody that.
But I won't lie, that's one thing that bothers me about going to Disneyland, because I feel bad, because I'll still see that kid that was me. And I'll be like, man, I want to buy him a t-shirt. But I can't buy every kid a t-shirt.
Yeah, you did, because one time at Disneyland, you saw this little kid look at her Mickey Mouse ears.
I remember. And it made me sad, because I remember what that was like to look in the window, to go to the mall and know that you weren't going to buy anything. That all we were there was there
Window
to look.
shopping.
You know, and I wouldn't even dare ask for something because I knew we didn't have it. So there was no point of me asking. I would just pretend like I was gonna get it. And you know, it's funny how life works.
Well, it's not
And
like
now
we
here
get
I
everything in
am.
the world.
No, you don't, because I'm not rich. I'm better off than I was when I was younger.
But-
you know, me and mom have
But
really good businesses,
Like,
luckily.
even if you were rich, I wouldn't be able to get everything in the single world.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Even if I was rich, no one would know I was rich, because I wouldn't
spend it
let
on a
anybody know
Lamborghini.
that I was rich. I don't want to be that kind of rich person. I
Yeah,
don't
like
want to
you're
be a
not
rich
like Mr.
person with
Beast, you know?
a Lamborghini and a mansion
And
and
a
everyone
Porsche.
knows that I'm rich. I don't want anyone
Like
to know I'm
Elon
rich,
Musk.
to tell you the truth, because I've already done it once,
Because everyone will
and
beg.
everybody asks you for money, and then when you don't give it to them, they
They'll-
hate you,
They'll scam you.
or they'll scam you,
They'll take all
and
your money and run.
I'd just rather be a regular person. You know, I
Yes.
don't have to be the guy that everyone's like, oh my God, there's Ian. He's a multi-millionaire.
Oh, there's Ian. Oh my God, there's Eli, guys.
Eli.
I meant Elon Musk.
Oh, wow. So white privilege is a real thing. And it sucks
Unfortunately.
because it's unfortunate, obviously.
I'm just trying to get right with Ian more.
But what I like doing is talking about all this stuff so it's an open forum. And realizing that at the end of the day, what we're here to do is help people connect to God, if that's what they want to do. And we're going to get people to 100%. Now, Kayla, let's get back to your question, because I know you said earlier you were at 30%. Was that just because you were mad at the time, or do you really feel that you went back to 30%?
Mad.
Oh, so what do you really feel you're at then?
100.
Oh, okay. So she was just being upset. So pretty much, that's all I wanted to talk about, guys, today on this podcast. It was, like I said, this is a impromptu podcast. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about, but I'm glad we hit these subjects, because sometimes in life, you have to not only be thankful for where you're at, and this is one thing I'm trying to do, is I still have love for all the poor kids out there.
Of course.
Because you guys, unfortunately, have privilege. And we're going to call it financial privilege. Because you have parents that make a lot of money. So there's nothing you've ever not had. There's not a trip you've never not taken. There's...
Actually, I haven't been to Vietnam.
That's because mom was wrong. It wasn't her fault.
So, like, traveling out of the country, like, on a fun trip, like, that was unheard of for us as kids, you know? Like, the best thing I got to go to was summer camp, and that was because it was free, you know, because every now and then they give 5 free scholarships to the poor kids.
Sled Park was free for other kids out there. That Lauren got, because our school doesn't do like fundraisers and stuff.
They sold things and they made money.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm not too happy about your school is that
they don't do
fundraisers and
2 other
allow
schools didn't pay.
Everybody should be able to go to that trip. I think it's so messed up that you're gonna exclude kids from something. You know,
our
that has to
PTO
do with
sucks.
school. It's like school to me
felt bad
should not.
because some kids couldn't go.
I just feel like if
most
all
kids
kids
just
do
didn't wanna
something, every kid, you know, and again, if you have 5 poor kids, then all the other parents should kick in a little bit so those kids can go.
Like
I don't think they should be left out.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
Because some kids in Lauren's school couldn't go.
I know.
No, but some did not
But
want
maybe
to
they just make that excuse
Some
because
don't
they
want to
can't.
go. Some again
But
like
they
me,
might
right?
make excuses.
Maybe they
that
just
one
say they
actually
were there or
was on you.
they don't want to
Yeah,
go.
it was on
And
me
then
a
some
while
people
ago.
actually don't want to go, right? Like some people
I
don't want
know it
to
was on you. Yeah, the house.
spend the night away from their parents or
force
they just
spray
don't feel
down.
comfortable.
Come on.
So at the end of the day, guys, what I like doing is coming on here and just talking about life, right? And all of it is for these 2 girls because at the end of the day, I'm trying to give them a life that I didn't have, right? And I'm not upset with my parents. Sometimes I get a little upset with my dad, but not much because again, I look at it like if everything wouldn't have happened the way it did, I would not be me. And I love who I am. So
I love who you are.
I'm really
love
happy.
who you are.
Thank you. I love who I am. So I'm just trying to be a good person, a God person, trying to spread love and help people, you know, help the earth. I think that's what's wrong is a lot of people don't help anymore.
I have a question. Did these chairs get carved by someone like
Yes, they did. Hand carved.
like with the little knife?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
So
why these are
yeah,
so
all right,
good?
guys, we're out of here. Go pray, fight, unite, love.
But you know,
Peace out from Church of the Nile. We're out of here. Have a God day, everybody.